Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using Scrapbook.com's brand new Market Bloom collection. Scrapbook.com just released their Market Bloom collection. There's new pattern paper, stamps, dies, stencils. I have just a few of the items, but there are lots of other great products available. I'll show you the pattern paper first. It's available in the 6x8 and also A2 size. The paper pad includes 40 sheets. These are double-sided. There are 5 sheets of each pattern, and it's a nice heavyweight paper, 230 GSM. And the size of the design is the same whether you're using the 6x8 or the A2 size paper pad. Let's try to show the comparison with the lemons, but I think you can see it better here on this scallop or mermaid print design. The paper collection is full of bright and cheerful colors, perfect for brightening up a gloomy winter day. I'll flip through the papers quickly so you can get an idea of what's included. There's a really fun variety of designs. We have florals, lots of tone-on-tone, several different fruit patterns. Here we have some butterflies, more florals. Here's a fun stripe design with colors that match the rest of the pattern paper. Now flip it around so you can see the back side. There are a couple of solid colors. There's the dark green, and there's also an orangish red. There's a fun watermelon print. There's this lovely tone-on-tone, and then a very abstract floral look. The next item is a stamp and coordinating die set called You're So Sweet. There are lots of fun images, great sentiments, and there is a die that goes around all of the sentiments and the images. The fun thing about the images, you could stamp the outline and color it if you like to color, or you can use the solid piece and stamp that with a colored ink if you don't like to color. And it's really easy to line up. There's the large sentiment, You're So Sweet, and also some smaller sentiments. The next set is a standalone die set called Flower Cart. Lots of dies that you can create your own little flower cart. It also includes 2 sentiments, thank you and hello, and it does have the outline for both of the sentiments. The next set is a word die set called Hop Hooray. There are 2 sentiments on the set, Hop Hooray and also Happy Easter. It includes the words and the outline piece. This will be a really fun set to use for Easter cards this year. Scrapbook.com has released lots of other fun stamps and die sets that go with the Market Bloom collection. And if you are interested, I do have a link in the description box below. I will be sharing a few cards using the new collection. I'll start off by grabbing my Crafty tools. I have the deluxe adhesive roller, 2 pairs of scissors, and reverse tweezers. And I keep all of those in a small Crafty pouch from Scrapbook.com. For a couple of the cards, I will be using a card sketch for inspiration. For card number 1, the sketch is from Sweet Sunday. This is number 179. And if you are interested in any of the sketches I use in this video, I do share that information on my coordinating blog post. That link is in the description box below, or you can simply head over to KristieMarcotte.com. I selected 2 pattern papers for the background, beautiful floral design for the top, and a pink tone-on-tone polka dot stripe paper at the bottom. I'll layer both of those on the solid green pattern paper. Put adhesive on the back, add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Next, I'll add a 3/8 inch strip of the same green pattern paper. To adhere that to the card, I did put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back. For the very narrow strip, I'm using one of the Pink's Smooth Cardstock color. And I will be using a variety of other smooth cardstock paper pads from Scrapbook.com throughout the video. And I will have them linked in the description box below. To adhere the narrow strip, I'm holding it with my pair of reverse tweezers and adding some Barely Art precision glue on the back side. For the 3 small banners in the lower left-hand corner, I'm using 2 of the solids and the orange and white stripe paper. I'll cut a fish at the bottom using Scrapbook.com's Easy Grip Ergonomic Scissors. Then I'll adhere the longest banner down first, this dark green. Before adhering the green banner, I'll hold the medium banner so I can get the placement correct. The left side of the orangish red banner will go off of the green banner. And to help keep it nice and level, I'll first add a small scrap piece of pattern paper on the left side of the green banner. Then I'll do the same thing before adding the orange and white stripe banner. If the pattern paper is really thin, it's not necessary to add those extra pieces, but since this paper does have a nice thickness to it, if I don't add those scrap pieces, there'll be a noticeable dip where it goes off of the other layers. I've already gone ahead and cut out all of the die cut pieces for this card, and I have them stored in one of Scrapbook.com's stack and sort trays. This is the smaller size. I am using other die sets that are not part of the Marcotte Bloom collection, but they're all from Scrapbook.com. The bow die is from their bow topper die set. Love this set. I cut it out from the same pink cardstock I used for that narrow strip. I'm adding the sentiment hello. There are 3 different layers. I use pink for the word hello, the orangish red for the shadow, and some white pearlescent cardstock for the outline piece. I will be popping it up with some foam dimension using Scrapbook.com's 1mm foam roll. It's my favorite foam dimension. I'll make sure to get good coverage, remove the release paper, and add the sentiment on a vellum oval die cut. That floral paper in the background is so pretty, I didn't want to cover it all up, so I decided to use vellum for the oval. I'll flip it over, put glue on the back just behind the word hello, that way the adhesive doesn't show through on the vellum. For a final finishing touch, I'm using a white gel pen and adding a few highlights to the word hello and also the pink bow. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 2, the card sketch is from Freshly Made Sketches. This is number 619. For the background of my card, I'm using this fun orange pattern paper. For the narrow strip on the right side of the card, using the orange pattern paper with a very narrow white stripes. I'll first layer that piece on some vellum. It'll add just that little extra detail. Then I'll layer the background piece on some dark green cardstock. The orange pattern paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and the green piece is a full A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. Now I'll put adhesive on the back and add my card front onto a card base. For the image box, I'm using some white pearlescent cardstock, and I'll layer it on the same dark green cardstock. Put adhesive on the back and adhere it on the right side of the card. Now I'll start working on the image, and I'll be stamping one of the oranges. I'll start off with the outline piece of the orange and also the pair of leaves. I have the stamps in my Rose Quartz MISTI, and I'll ink it up using Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. And I will ink it a few times to get a nice solid impression. I'm also using the Rose Quartz Stampendable pressure tool. This is from LDRS Creative. It helps get a nice even pressure when using a MISTI. I've gone ahead and lined up the solid piece for the leaves and also the orange. The ink color I'm using for the orange is Catherine Pooler's Orange Peel, and the ink color for the leaves is Catherine Pooler's Spruce ink color. It matches the pattern paper beautifully. Now I'll use the coordinating dies to cut out both of the pieces. I'll hold the die in place using some of Scrapbook.com's mint tape. Then I'll run it through my Platinum 6 die cutting machine. I love how it cuts out that perfect white border around both of the images. I've also stamped out the sentiment "You're So Sweet," used the same Spruce ink color, cut it out using the coordinating die, and with that same die I also cut out a second piece from some dark green cardstock. Well, it's actually the solid green from the Marcotte Bloom pattern paper pad. I'll layer the two pieces together to create a green drop shadow underneath the sentiment. It'll help it stand out against the pattern paper background. I will be popping it up using more of the 1mm foam dimension. And I'll also pop up the orange and the leaves. I'll cut some small pieces of the foam to fit behind the orange. I'll put glue on the back of the leaf piece and adhere it on the top of the orange. Then I'll add some small pieces of foam dimension behind the leaves. Remove the release paper, add the orange inside my image box, putting it at a slight angle. Then I'll remove the release paper behind the sentiment and adhere it underneath, trying to center it on the card. So there is my finished card, and I did make two using this design. I love all the fruit themed pattern paper in the Marcotte Bloom collection. It's so fun. For card design number 3, I'll continue on with more of the fruit pattern paper, this time the lemons. For the background of my card, using this yellow and orange scallop design, I'll layer it on some orange solid cardstock. I believe this color is from the Joyful collection. I'll layer the lemon piece on dark green cardstock. Then I'll put adhesive on the back and add my card front onto a card base. Across the card, I'm adding this fun stripe paper. It has all these little circles inside each of the stripes. I'll adhere that piece across the card about an inch up from the bottom. Before adhering the lemon piece on top, I'll first put some scrap pattern paper on the back side, just in the area where it goes over the stripe piece, and that'll help it stay nice and level. Then I'll put more adhesive on the back and add my lemon pattern paper on the center of the card. I've already gone ahead and stamped and cut out several lemon images with some leaves. The ink color is Catherine Pooler's Shea Butter. When you stamp the image of the sliced citrus fruit, you do end up with an area that stays white. I'm using the same ink color and a blending brush and adding just that little bit of ink on the inside so it has a nice light yellow color. Another option would be to stamp the image on yellow cardstock or green or orange, depending on what your citrus fruit will be. Next, I'll add a light green panel toward the bottom of the card, and this will help the fruit and sentiment stand out against the lemon pattern paper background. I'm adding 2 of the sliced lemons and 1 whole lemon. Behind the whole lemon, I am adding a couple of leaves. This image also has a stem. I simply trim that off, then glue the leaves on the back side. Now I'll adhere all 3 images, starting with the sliced lemon on the left side, the whole lemon in the center, and another sliced lemon on the right side. I've already stamped and cut out the sentiment, "You're the zest." I'll adhere it in the upper left-hand corner of the light green panel. Using a small piece of dark green cardstock, I'll cut a fishtail on the bottom. Then I'll cut the right side in slightly at an angle, flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. Then I'll put glue on the back and adhere it in the upper right-hand corner, with the very end of the banner going above the lemon pattern paper. For a final finishing touch, I'm using the Sunshine Yellow Glitter Brush Marker from Scrapbook.com, adding some lovely glitter to all 3 of the lemon images. I'm adding it on the inside area of the sliced lemon and the little polka dot area on the whole lemon. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I love lemons, and this pattern paper is so much fun. Now moving on to card design number 4. For the background of my card, I'm using the A2 card dies. This is their thick and thin strips set. I used it to cut out this beautiful floral paper. With the cover plate die, it'll cut out 6 strips about 3/4 of an inch wide and 5 strips about 1/8 of an inch wide. I'll be adding all of the floral pieces on some of the orangish red solid pattern paper. To help keep all of those strips evenly spaced, I did keep one of the narrow strips. I'll place it on top of the very bottom, then I'll adhere the next strip down. Then I'll move that narrow strip, place it on top of the next piece, and continue to do that until I have all 6 of the floral pieces adhered. I did start off by adhering the bottom strip and the very top. This die would be fun to use a variety of different solid or pattern papers, and you could also add a pattern paper strip instead of leaving the gap. Now I'll flip over this piece, put adhesive on the back, add my card front onto a card base. Using the Nested Arches die set, I cut out the smaller one from white cardstock. The larger one used some of the dark green cardstock. I'll glue the 2 pieces together. Then I'll put glue on the back and adhere the arch die cut piece on the center of my card. The arch dies are a great shape to have, perfect for adding an image and sentiment. This card will be featuring the adorable fox image. This is from Scrapbook.com's Fox die set. Last fall, I was one of the instructors for Scrapbook.com's SBC Fest, and I used this adorable fox die set. And if you aren't aware, there's a new SBC Fest coming in March. This is an absolutely free event, lots of amazing instructors. And I do have a link in the description box if you want to check out the instructors and also their class supply list. I decided my card would have a sweet little pink fox. I am adding just a little bit of brown ink along the edge of all the die cut pieces of the fox. I use Catherine Pooler's Macchiato ink color. And I'm using Waffle Flowers Mini Stencil Matte to do all of the inking. Now it's time to assemble the fox. To make sure I didn't lose all those tiny die cut pieces, I placed them in one of Scrapbook.com's stack and sort trays. And as you can see, some of those pieces are itty bitty. The fox may look a little intimidating, but it's very easy to assemble. My SBC Fest class was recorded in real time, so if you want a slower version of how to assemble this, I will add a link for the video in the description box below. I started with the background piece, and all of this will be covered up with the individual die cuts. There's one for the tail, one for the body, another for the head. I used a lighter pink color for the chest, the end of the tail, and also the cheeks of the fox. After attaching the cheeks, I'll adhere the nose, and I am using an embellishment wand to pick up those teeny tiny pieces. Now I'll add the inside of the ears using a slightly darker pink cardstock color. And all of the pinks from the fox are from the Pink Smooth cardstock paper pad. I used a dark brown for the legs. You can see the 2 front legs and just one of the side legs since the fox is sitting. And the final pieces are the teeny tiny eyes. I'll first put a drop of Barely Art glue down, use my embellishment wand to pick up the eyes, and before that glue dries, I'll make sure to adjust them so the eyes are straight. Now I'll flip over the fox, put foam dimension on the back, using more of the 1mm foam dimension, and I am cutting some small pieces so I can fit behind those tiny areas of the fox. I'll remove the release paper, add my little fox inside the arch die cut. And I'm putting the fox more toward the top since I'll be adding the sentiment hello underneath her. The hello sentiment is also included on the fox die set. I used a light pink, sort of peach colored cardstock for the background and brown cardstock for the letters. And I also popped it up with some foam dimension. I'll adhere the sentiment at the bottom of the arch, then add the fox right above. I decided to add a little flower on the top of the fox's head. The tiny flower is from Scrapbook.com's Sunny Lane floral die set. I cut it out from some orange cardstock. To finish off the card, I'll use a white gel pen and add a few highlights on the inside of the fox's ears. Give the fox a little polka dots on the cheek and then a few highlights on the tail. Then for a final finishing touch, using Scrapbook.com's Pops of Color, this is Pearl Orange Sherbet, I'll add a little drop in the very center of the orange flower. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I love this little fox image and will keep using it again and again. Now moving on to card design number 5, and this is my final card design. I selected this lovely pretty pink and orange plaid paper for the background, layering it on some orange cardstock. I'll put adhesive on the back, add my card front onto a card base. Next I'll add a scallop rectangle die cut, and the die set is from Honeybee Stamps. I'll put glue on the back and adhere it on the front of my card. And I am placing an acrylic block on top for some added weight to make sure the scallop and stitch edges lay down flat. I've already gone ahead and die cut out all of the pieces to assemble the flower cart. I have all of them in a stack and sort tray so I don't lose them. Yes, there are lots of pieces involved in the flower cart, but I think the finished results are worth it. I'll start by assembling the umbrella. Hard to see on the video, but there are etched lines for the stripes on the umbrella. Use pink cardstock for the main umbrella piece, then lighter orange cardstock for the alternating stripes. And the 5 individual stripes can only fit in one area, so it makes it very easy to line up. For the very top of the umbrella, I'm using some of the orangish red cardstock. Just glue that in place. So there's the main portion of the umbrella all assembled. Now I'll work on the cart. Decide to use some of the pink tone-on-tone polka dot pattern paper for the main body of the cart. And there's also a very thin piece that adds a frame. Just that little extra detail on the cart. And I cut this out from some pink cardstock. I'll be adding the sentiment hello. For the word, I use the orangish red cardstock, and for the outline, I use some white cardstock. Glue the 2 pieces together and attach it on the front of the cart. For the handle of the umbrella, I use some silver mirror cardstock. I'll attach it in the very center of the cart. I did put a little bit of glue to hold the umbrella stick, but it wasn't holding, so I'm adding a piece of double-sided adhesive tape. And you could add a variety of fun items inside the cart. I'll be adding the 4 little containers of flowers. I use brown cardstock for the little flower wrappers, green cardstock for the stems, and 3 different colors of cardstock for the flowers. I'll start by adding the stem pieces inside the little flower wrapper. And I think this little triangle piece would also work as an ice cream cone, so you could make an adorable ice cream cart. Now I'll adhere the 3 flowers. For the yellow flowers, it's hard to tell, but I used the center of the lemon pattern paper for the yellow flowers. So it has some tiny little polka dots. Once I've adhered all of the flowers, I can start attaching the flower bundles inside the cart. I'll put a little bit of glue on the back side. I'll add the 2 flower bundles on the right side of the cart. And to make sure they stay in place, I'll add a small piece of double-sided adhesive tape. Then I'll do the same thing for the last 2 bundles of flowers. I'm trying to make sure that the paper wrappers are all at about the same level. To attach the top of the umbrella, putting a piece of double-sided adhesive tape on the back, adhering it on the silver stick. The final items to attach are the wheels at the very bottom of the cart. Putting just glue behind the wheels in the area where it sits on the bottom portion of the cart. I used gray cardstock. I think this was from the Christmas Smooth cardstock paper pad. I'll remove the release paper from the double-sided adhesive tape, and I will be popping up the whole cart using the 1mm foam. With all those tiny little pieces, I will need to cut some itty-bitty pieces of foam, especially to go behind the bundles of flowers. I'm glad that Scrapbook.com's foam roll is super easy to cut apart. But they do have more of their 1mm foam coming out in different sizes, small circles, small squares. It's in their coming soon section on the website, and I will be getting all of the different sizes once they're released. The only area I won't be adding the foam is behind the wheels and the stick of the umbrella. Now I'll remove the release paper and add my flower card on the center of my card. I love how this turned out. The colors are so fun, perfect for spring. But you can easily customize this card to any color you want. Next, I'll use a white gel pen and add highlights on the flower card, putting lots of little highlights on the umbrella, a few little polka dots on the flowers, little highlight on the side of the flower wrapper, and also a couple highlights on the wheels. A white gel pen is a quick and easy way to add that little extra detail to your die cut images or sentiments. For embellishments, I'm using Pops of Color. This is the Glitter Unicorn Tears. It's a pretty pink with lots of glitter. I'll add 2 drops in the upper right hand corner and 3 on the left side of the flower card. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. Now here's another look at the 10 cards I made using Scrapbook.com's brand new Market Bloom collection, along with some other Scrapbook.com stamp and die sets. If you are interested in this collection, I do have links in the description box below. And there are lots of other stamp and die sets that I don't have. They're on my wish list, so be sure to check them out. If you enjoyed my video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.